Hey, badass business owners, it's Tammy, and I want to talk about something that we just don't like to talk about when we ever think of our business and what could possibly happen. I had a conversation earlier this week that's been eating at me, and I just wanted to make sure that I touched on it. And really what it has to do is there's a time when we're running our business and it just is not working out. You know, we're working these 50, 60, 70, sometimes 80 hours a week, busting our butt. We've got a decent amount of revenue coming in, but there just is no profit being made in the business. And we've tweaked things and we've looked at our pricing and we've looked at every different thing, but we're just swimming. We're swimming in debt. Our personal lives are suffering from it because not only can we not pay for the business, we're just not paying ourselves anymore because all the money goes out to the cost of what's going on. And meanwhile, our credit cards have been racked up. You know, we talked about this a week ago about how people get so in debt when it comes to those credit cards, and they end up running up their personal cards, the business stuff, everything else. And then they start getting behind on their bills. And it's just, there's no way out. It doesn't matter what they're doing in the business, they're just not making any money. And it could be that they're not running the business well, but in some cases, they just have a bad business model. It just doesn't work, or maybe the market has changed, or something has changed from what they used to do to what they do now, or they've lost a lot of customers because people are tightening up. Whatever the reason, they've gotten to the point where they no longer are making the type of money that they need, or maybe they never made the money that they needed to make. You know, this might even be resonating with some of you guys, that you're swimming so deep in debt and you just can't pay your bills and everything else. Well, here's the hard truth. You know, sometimes you got to let go. Sometimes you have to pivot. Sometimes there's things you can do in your business. And sometimes you just got to say, I need to stop the insanity. In order for me to get out of this hole, I may need to go get a job. I may need to go work for someone else for a while and then step back and do my dream. Or maybe go part-time and do it as a side hustle while you go get a job to start earning some money. Listen, you've got to do what the right thing is for your family. You have got to survive. You cannot keep going into more and more debt and just keep falling further and further behind when you need to make a hard decision. And that hard decision might be letting go of your baby. It doesn't mean you're a failure. It doesn't mean that you're going to fail again. There are so many successful people that had failures in the past, or businesses that just didn't take off, or they had the wrong business idea, or it wasn't fleshed out, or it was way more expensive than what they thought it was going to be. Or, you know, heck, even myself, even though I have 4 businesses today doing okay, guess what? I failed at one of my businesses, and it wasn't because of anything I did. I ran a great business. The market changed, the things collapsed. You just could no longer make it work due to the cost to keep the business open and the amount of revenue that you could get in with the type of customer flow that you could get. It doesn't mean you're a failure. It just means that you tried something, it didn't work, it's time to regroup. Maybe you can stay in the same field, but you pivot and you do something different. But for some of you, the first thing you need to do is go get a regular job, so that way you can kind of start getting out of debt. And meanwhile, you restart your business, you know, at nights, on the weekends, or whatever you can do. Some of you, you may not have to go get a job, but I need you to step back and don't let your pride and your ego get in the way of making your life even worse, especially if you have a family, especially if you have folks at home that are counting on you to be able to pay the bills, to make sure that there's a roof over their head, to make sure there's food on the table, that you can pay for your utilities to keep them on, and everything else. You've got to make the right decision for your family. It does not make you a failure. It just means this particular business adventure did not work. And I know it's not easy. I know that it hurts, and I know that it's soul crushing. And I know that you've probably been thinking of yourself as a failure for a really long time, and just all this garbage going on in your head. I know it. I've been there. Especially when you succeed at a lot of different things. But ultimately, what's the right thing for you to do? And you need to step back and you need to make the right call. It's just, when I talk to people that I'm looking at their information and you know, they're begging me basically to give them a way out, you know, sure, we can come up with a game plan and we can come up with, hey, you should do this, you should do this, you should do that. But it doesn't mean you're getting out of the debt. It doesn't mean you're getting out of the hole for another, sometimes 6 months to a year, because you have so far to go. Now, for some of you, you might have another income at home. It might be your spouse that's bringing in a good income, so you have that play and that leeway to do it. And for some of you, you might be able to say, hey, I've got savings and I keep diving into them. But there are others of you that have nothing. You are scraping by just to do what it is that you're doing. You've got to make the right call. You've got to make the right decision. Now, I'm not going to harp on this because I know how hard this is for somebody that's making it. But I think it's worth having a conversation because, like I said, there's way too many people out there that are struggling. And when you're struggling, you've got to make the right call. If you were at a 9-to-5 or some other business and you couldn't pay your bills, you wouldn't think twice about leaving and going to another company so you can make the type of money that you need to do. You wouldn't think twice about doing what you needed to do to move up through the income level. Why is it when we're running our own business that we look at it completely different? You know, in most cases, some of you guys are working for nothing. Never mind the fact that you're only making maybe in some cases $2-3 an hour when you work out what your time is and what you're able to get out. You know, I just need you to be smart. I need you to stop, look at your business and look at the true viability of how well you're going to be able to make that business better. You know, what is it that I need to do? Is it a sales problem? Yeah. Go through the checklist of everything you need to go through to make sure you're doing everything humanly possible for you to have a successful business. But in the end, ultimately, it's going to come down. Can I turn this business around without making it worse for my family? You know, if you're a single person and you're ready to go scorched earth and you've got a guaranteed roof over your head and everything else, okay, and you believe in your business, great. Go do whatever it is that you want to do and keep working on it. But when other people are reliant upon you for their livelihood, just because you can handle it doesn't mean they can. Sometimes what's happening is you're just gun-ho, and your spouse is at home worried sick and is ready to throw up and is trying to be so supportive of you. But you know what? They're scared to death that they're not going to be able to make the rent payment. They're not going to be able to make the mortgage payment. They're not going to be able to keep the lights on. They're not going to be able to put food on the table. I get it's your dream. I get that you want to do it. I get that your ego won't let you let go. But I'm telling you, you've got to make that call. And sorry that I keep going on. It's just, I'm that passionate about it because I want everybody to succeed. I want to help as many small business owners as possible just create amazing revenue and profits for their business. You know, that's what I want. But there are times, there are people that I come across, it's time for them to pivot. It might mean they change their entire business model if they want to keep going. But you can't keep doing the insanity of what's not working today, that's not creating the revenue and the money that you need. And it's great that you've been trying, and I'm not talking about people that have just been struggling for 6 months. I'm talking about people that have been struggling for years to turn their business around or turn it into something profitable. There's times you have to let go. It just is not working. You cannot let your family suffer while you try to chase a dream that just is not going to happen, at least not today. That doesn't mean you can't make it work tomorrow. It doesn't mean that you can't make something better later on. The important thing is, what I need you to do is I need you to make the right decision for you, for your family, and you need to make sure that you're taking care of your loved ones, and you will be successful again. Go get the job if you need to get the job. Work on your new adventure as a side hustle until you can build it up to replace that income that you're leaving in some cases. And by the way, some people just aren't meant to be a small business owner. They're not. That doesn't make them a bad person. It's just, hey, I can make way more money in my field doing this way. I don't have the headaches. I don't have the pain. I don't have to worry about people. I don't have to worry about the customers. Better off. Yes, you get to make your own schedule, supposedly, right? And yes, you have a little bit more freedom as a small business owner, but is that a trade-off for being broke and for not having any money and for stressing out your family? No, it's not. You need to decide what's the right thing for you and what's the right thing for your family. I'm going to get off my soapbox. I'm going to end this, and I will talk to you guys on the next episode. Bye for now.